Degrees SAG. I'm your host, Kimla Lowe, and we are going to be talking about how to create sacred spaces tonight and also the power of Pluto. And, there has been so much controversy about poor Pluto, the dwarf planet. Was it in? Was it out? Was it demoted? Is it now being promoted because it's moving into a new sign? What exactly is going on with Pluto? So, we're going to be talking about that as well. I've got everything in place. The chat room is open. I want to say hi, everybody. I know it takes a little bit of time for everybody to come in, but welcome, welcome. And we're going to be doing some readings as well in the chat room. So if you can get on over to YouTube or Facebook, come on in, join us. It's kind of a fun, harmonic Libra moon tonight. So Libras, they love everything that's pretty and charming and in alignment. And it's a perfect time to talk about feng shui as well. So we are going to be talking about feng shui. Something's going on out there. All of a sudden, this noise started happening. But anyway, yeah. So it's a great time to be talking about feng shui, and it's also one of those times where we are preparing for the spring equinox. And I know in some places that you're totally buried with 10 feet of snow, but the energy is changing. And I know it's hard to believe, if you are in one of those locations, but it's true. And we are here to tell you that we are based we are going on to wake up the planet, shake it up with all these new shifts that are going into place. And so, as I'm talking tonight about how we are going to be able to handle these particular astrological changing of the guard, so to speak, because all of these energies are going to be affecting us from the outside in. So, okay, so there's something going on with the channels. I'm not sure what it is, but something's going on there. So we just hope that everything is okay. Oh, good. Vandana is here. Hello, hello. There, I just got a notification about something on the other channels, so we'll deal with that later. But as we're dealing with all of these different energies coming through, and as we're dealing with this particular huge push through the universe that we are all about to experience into the age of Aquarius, we've been hearing this ever since the Fifth Dimension came out with the song, right? But the thing is that this is now, we're living it now. We are actually going through it. And in order to assimilate these particular shifts in a very positive way, we have to start with where we are in our day-to-day space. So the best thing that I could anchor myself, and I'm hoping to share a little bit with you tonight, is to start with having a sacred space. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you perhaps are, in a situation where you're sharing a space with the family, or you are perhaps not in an optimal situation for having your own space or for having the space of your dreams. Right now, what we want to create is we want to create our electromagnetic field of energy into a corner, into a space, into a room, and we're going to go out from there. How do we do it? It's very interesting, but when you do put your hands like this in this particular mudra, right by your heart chakra, your electronic energy field goes blasting out, sometimes out of the building. depending on how you can sustain energy. So it's absolutely fabulous. Um, and what is a sacred energy? What is a sacred space? What? How do we even know? Where we are, and how do we keep it energetically clean? There's a couple of tools I want to go over with you, and one of the best tools that I have are my dowsing rods. I can feel energy when it's clogged. My hands have been activated, and a lot of you that are doing Reiki have the same. But if you have the dowsing rods, they come with wonderful instructions. You can go on Amazon. I'll pitch Amazon or your local goodie place. Um, but dowsing rods give you a validation if a space has been cleared or not, and you can go through that. I do this for my clients so that they can see what happens before I go into the home and how these react after I'm finished with my clearing. And it's a good thing for you to do that as well. Now, according to feng shui, the northwest corner of a room is the one that's elevated. It's the one that gives the blessings. It's the one that is the portal open to the heavens. So it's the one space or the one area that literally any type of sacred objects that you have, if you'd like to build an altar, highly recommended. And this particular altar doesn't have to take up the whole entire space. It can be very small. But what I'd love for you to do is to designate your particular space with what we call an altar. And that particular altar has the deities on it. It could have any type of sacred objects that you have collected or that you have infused with prayer and intention. A lot of people have mala beads, a lot of people have rosaries, crucifixes, they have buddhas, they have their holy water. A lot of people also have prayers, or perhaps candles or incense, or perhaps sage, or they have, their protection symbols as well. That's a pagoda, and that is extremely powerful in feng shui, and it keeps your health optimal. You can also have something like a pendulum. You can have your crystals, right? So anything that you feel as though you have worked with, and your objects are blessed or cleaned. And you can always, people say to me, well, how do you clean your crystals? Well, crystals, really, to really charge them up, need to be charged. Um, and they need to be charged with moonlight. So not all full moons are let's just say positive. Some are very challenging. So if you find like a full moon that's really, really terrific, and we have one where we just had the Virgo full moon, which was absolutely fabulous. I I didn't get any sleep, but it was great and grand, and it was a perfect time to charge up your crystals. Some people put crystal in the earth because that's how they're made. They put them to bed. They make little crystal beds, and they put them in the earth so that they can charge to Mother Earth, and for 3 days at least. Also, what a good thing to do is, if you can't sleep in your beds at night as well, is you take your pillows and you put them in the sun. Okay. You put them in the sun for a whole day, and you bring them in at night, and you will really have a much better rest and a much deeper connection with your subconscious than ever before, because it gives you the yang energy. Sleep is a yin energy, and you get that balance, that tai chi that we're always looking for, because that tai chi is basically a little womb for the Christed energy. So it's optimal to do that. Yeah, the pillows, absolutely. Okay, so for your sacred space, when I go into a place right away, I can feel exactly what I'm going into. As a matter of fact, I used to have people that would send me floor plans, and they would do this by a fax. That's how old I am. But now you can email it over, right? But I used to come over the fax, and then I used to put it on my altar and really, meditate on it. And now I don't even bother printing it out anymore, only because I can pick up exactly what is coming in. But for those of you who are just starting out and just, are wanting to get the floor plan in your hands, so to speak, so that you can really feel the different areas of the home. When you are starting to concentrate on the home, you just get very, very still. Yeah, you get very still. You can use any type of a mudra that you want. You can use many different types of mudras. I highly recommend a mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, just to kind of align yourself, get the breath going, and just you want to close your eyes, but pull your eyeballs up and contact the third eye, and you open your portal. And when that happens, when you open that crown chakra, when that happens, and let's just say you are holding a floor plan in your hand, it will speak to you. It will open up a movie that only you will be able to see, and you will see what is going on within that particular home, that space. And it will actually show you if there's any type of entities there, or clogged energies, or perhaps a lot of clutter that needs to be moved out. There could be some kind of construction that needs to be finished. There could be broken doors, broken windows, hinges. There could be things that have piled up, in certain pathways, because the home that you're living in, that is your soul. Those are your arteries. That's, the windows are the eyes to your soul. They must be tended to and cleaned, and the screens have to be washed, and all of this stuff coming up for the spring, all these spring tasks. It's a great time right now. It's probably still cold and snowy and all of that other stuff, but it is true. It's one of those things that when you keep your pathways clear within the home, those are your arteries. So you get the circulation going within the body, and also the arteries of the home itself. So when I go through, I can tell right away what's going on within a home. And also if there is any type of electronic tower, nearby. That way there's restricted, or what I call frayed energy around that particular space. So when you start tuning into the space and where there's dead zones a lot of times, uh, sometimes they can be located in and behind like big chairs, or perhaps cluttered closets that haven't been cleaned or vacuumed, and also that haven't been lit properly. There could be dead zones, like a lot of people do not use their dining rooms anymore. They just don't, they've got this grand set, and it sits there inviting inviting, unseen energy to take a seat and, have a prominent place in your home. So there's a lot of what I call dead zones within a home. Perhaps rooms that maybe bedrooms the kids have left already and they're not using them anymore. There could be dead zones in the garage, in a basement, hallways. They're never lit properly, as far as my experience goes. So if you have some type of a really long hallway, I always suggest you put a mirror at the end of that long hallway. And what that does is it prevents this completely long walk. They call it the walk. The walk of the plank. You're getting off the plank of the ship. So it's one of those things that there's a couple of different types of dead zones that you can feel. You can feel, you can go into even a kitchen and all of a sudden there'll be a cold zone. And that cold zone, you drop in temperature. A lot of times this happens on stairways, but you can tell that there is an entity there, or perhaps a conglomerate of spirits or energies that are there that are not vibrating to your highest frequency. They get freaked out just like you get freaked out when you both run into each other. But you can feel these as you're going. They all need to be cleared. There are many times when perhaps you're renting out a room, or you have had a party at your house, or you have just had your coworkers come in, and maybe you're working on a script or a book or a book club that you've had, or perhaps you're just, you're just socializing. A lot of people come in with old stagnant energy, and the best thing that you can do is clear it out as soon as they leave. And I mean, with sage, you can burn some sage before and after. Also, salt. Also, what I like to have a concoction of is my own little brew, and it is uh, a third of water, a third of lemon juice, a third of vinegar, and then just put a little bit of that wonderful blue detergent in there, and so that you can clean all around. You can also use some type of a beautiful essence in the air. The rose is the highest frequency if you're wanting to get any kind of oil, healing oil. Rose is highly recommended. Any kind of citrus is the waker, right? And you can also go through all of those oils that cleanses the air and cleans everything out. I like to use a lot of Himalayan salt or sea salt within the air as well. I've talked about how important ocean water is, containing that particular miraculous salt that is in the water itself. It is in connection with Mother Earth. It has been purified over and over and over, and it is a truly a miracle healing tool, a tool to put in your tool belt. So you can always order that online as well. Baking soda is another one. If you feel as though your money is going down the drain, your money comes into the house, you're working really hard, but it just keeps going down the drain. So what I like to do is I like to I like to clean the drains out first of all, because a lot of times when we pull up those stoppers, there's a lot of gunk in there, right? You could have varmints coming out there. You could have ants and spiders and snakes. Oh my. I live in Florida. You could have, a boa constrictor stuck in one of these things. But anyway, and another thing is your toilets as well. If you are in a wooded area where there's lots of trees around, those roots go underneath the home, and the only way they get water, because of the slab that's put down, is through these particular toilet areas. And if you've ever, I'm in construction a lot of times and working on feng shui plans with architects and things like that, and a lot of do-overs. And you take the toilet up, and there is a huge root ball in there. And, these kinds of things are something that clogs your sacred space. So you want to get that out of there. Obviously, it needs to be removed. But what you want to do to deter that and to really kind of harmonize that energy is to use some baking soda down every single drain. Then keep the drains closed. Keep the drains closed for as long as you possibly can. Any kind of bathrooms that, let's say, are aligned to your bedroom, they call this ensuite. They call it, when you have your bathroom connected to the particular bedroom. That that door to that bathroom must be closed. It's very inauspicious to have a bathroom and a kitchen like back to back on the same wall. It's very inauspicious, unlucky when you walk in the entryway of a home and there is a bathroom directly above the entryway of the home. I've done many demolitions with that type of a plan and turned around structures that were built for bankruptcy. And this is something that is truly important when I'm working with architects and I'm working with particular redos where they want to get it right. Um, and also your laundry area should be really, I mean, when I had all the kids in, the house, it was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, we had to trample over stuff just to get from the garage into the house a lot of times. I was just too busy to keep up with everything. But now we've got these great organizers and these great ways to kind of break those things up. Um, Try to keep some of the clutter perhaps in another part or another designated area before it gets into the washing cycle so you can kind of organize that and keep all of that looking good. There is no reason why your laundry room should be an embarrassment. And over many years, I've tried so many ways, and now I've got it streamlined. And you can come in and out of the breezeway, and you would think that you were in a gallery. It's very clean. It's very pleasing. I have beautiful pictures and colors, and it's a lovely place to do the cleaning and the washing. However, I do keep those doors closed whenever I can, because that is a huge drain on the finances if you leave that open. Okay. Another thing is where, the little things that, and I'm getting this from this full moon in Virgo, but a lot of your sacred spaces have things that you probably don't even think about, but have things that have never been touched or cleaned in the cupboards forever. You just put it in there and you forgot about it. Well, what happens is that's where the lower entities love to go. They love to go where things are buried or things take on a buried type of energy. You see, when you do not use something, when you do not wash something, when you do not give something the light of day, what happens is the energy field constricts. And when that happens, it's so easy for another entity to come in. There's nothing like a vacuum, because there's either this beautiful, let's just say a vase for flowers, vase, right? And you might have 10 of them, and you just stash them away. You never touch them. There could be your mother's china that you haven't visited in such a long time. I'm just saying that, you know what? There's a lot of things within the home itself that really carries dead energy. And that dead energy leads to little blockages within your body because you're living in this particular space. So, what is inside as is outside, what is above is so below. And so, you must take all of this into consideration. You can live with so much less. Less is more these days, as everybody says. But you can have your frequency at a grand rate where when people come in, it feels clean, it feels spacious. When you come in, you are actually bathed in good health. There's putrefied energy where we keep foods, where we keep canned goods, where we, our pantries, our refrigerators. A lot of times, even the table where you eat can really get and develop a type of energy around it. So you really want to take into consideration, if you want to create sacred spaces here, to really just bring your awareness as to, okay, I haven't moved that chair in 5 years. I better move it and find out and find out who's really under that chair. I mean, it could be any furry animal. I'm just saying that, and when we have things on the outside of our house, I live outside. I am an outdoor girl. I love to be able to extend my particular living, my square footage on the outside. So, I mean, everything gets washed, everything gets hosed down, gets replaced. And this is what's coming up. This is a great time because we have got this beautiful new moon coming up in Aries. It's time to start fresh. It is time to line yourself up with a place where you can go that's your own sacred space that elevates your particular electromagnetic energy, that you can actually feel safe, secure, and that it's sacred to be able to open up your particular chakras, align them. Have you noticed you can't just do that anywhere? I mean, really? You can't just do that anywhere. You have to be able to be in a space where you can feel grounded, where you can feel planted, where you can feel like, yeah, now I have got this space where I can really concentrate and let let them talk to me. Let the energies come through me. Because if your space is sacred that you are living in, you are going to have a sacred space on the inside as well. They go hand in hand. Okay. So if we're coming along and we've got this grand new moon in Aries, it's at 1 degree. It's actually at like a 0 degree with some minutes. And this is an absolute powerful new moon. It is going to not only shift us into the astrological new year, because Aries is the first sign, but it's going to shift humanity as well. You know, uh, Jupiter is in Aries right now. We've got all of this wonderful push, and Mars is going to be stabilizing this particular energy, and Pluto's going to be in on it as well to really give us that courage to transform. Finally, we have been picturing it, and we've been, hearing about it, and we've been deciding, right? Because that full moon in Virgo asked you to make a commitment for the next 3 years. And what did you decide? What did you decide? Are you going to push the reset button on a relationship, or are you going to set yourself up in another relationship? Or perhaps you just decided, I'm not going to waste my particular energy there. I'm going to redirect my energy. Whatever the cycle is that you have decided, you may have decided you want to go back to school. You want to, I want to go back to school. I want to learn how to do this. I want to experience that. You may just say, you know what? I'm on a mission. I want to I want to get rid of all this debt. And I know I can do it. And I'm going to learn how. I'm going to learn how. I'm going to get a side hustle. I'm going to learn how. And I'm going to wipe that out, because that literally is the dinosaur tail that's everybody's dragging it around with them. And if it's not that, it's something else, like wounds to be healed, um, generational imprints, uh, let's just say relationships with children, with family that need to be reconnected. Let's just say we have health challenges. We all do. We're living in this leftover junk that, everybody has been, every country, has throughout time. I mean, certainly since I've been on the planet, has been experimenting with bombs, chemicals, reactors, going up into space and letting all this debris hang around, fall down. I mean, radiation. We've got um, we've got the water that's polluted. I mean, so much. We are so courageous. We are. We are the ones that are walking through this and experiencing it and going, oh no, I'm not taking this anymore. Whatever it takes to get rid of this, I'm not feeling like this anymore. I'm not having my hair fall out anymore. I'm not having this bad skin anymore. I am going to do something about it. Well, if whatever you have made a commitment about, whether it's environmental, whether it is romantic, whether it is educational, spiritual, whatever that commitment is, you're going to be so pleased with the results if you have committed to a 3-year plan. And this is what I help people do when we start looking at the cycles and we start looking at what's coming ahead, the work that they need to clear, and also the gifts they need to embrace. It's so much easier when you start with a sacred space. It's just so much easier. And guess what? You have specific best directions for you to align yourself with. So I want to go through some very quick ways, especially for this particular month, that you can really take some really good notes on this. If you have if you have something, or you can just listen to this particular part again. But what we've got going on for March, as far as the monthly feng shui directions, the middle of your home is where we always start. That's the most important, because the middle of your particular body, of course, is very important as well. And the middle of the home is housing the number 7, which is loss, betrayal. It's also I want to say, one of those numbers that makes you feel as though you're kind of paranoid. Okay, so that's at the center of the home. How do you cure that? The center of your home. I like to use the blue rhino. That the blue rhino is known in feng shui for really protecting the space. Um, at this time, also, I do like to use the pagoda. The pagoda is extremely powerful as well. This top comes off, and you can put sacred salt inside of here, and that keeps it nice and clean. This is a pagoda. You can get this at uniquefengshui.com. Wherever you like to do your shopping. I was toying about having a little online storefront with all of these wonderful things, so that might be coming up for me as well. That's in the center of the home. Because the number 4 star is there for the whole entire year, I find that this could be some type of a betrayal in uh, the romantic sector of our particular lives. So if you are by yourself, that's fine. But if you are in partnership with someone, or you are maybe perhaps just starting a romantic venture, just, don't put anybody on a pedestal right now. Everybody is human. Everybody's having an experience. Everybody's in their own place, in their own journey. So I just want to say that, There's also something that I like to do, especially if you're in an office or if you're working or something like that. And I always keep a rooster behind me. I've said this 100 times, but for those of you who have not heard it or seen it, the rooster stops gossip, stops people stabbing you in the back. And to place a little rooster is fine in the middle of your home. How do you know the middle of your home? Good question. Somebody said that. You walk it off. You put one foot in front of the other. You go from the front door to the back door and from one side to the other, from east to west to north to south. You will come up bing with the center of the home. If you cannot put something there, just put a little side table as close as you possibly can. Now, for the month of March, I'm going to get right to it. East and north are really low frequency places right now. So for the month of March, if you're facing east, you really should not be ever facing east in this whole entire year. You should be facing west, have the east at your back. So the east is really very low frequency. You will be, kind of at a loss. You will be having challenges if you are orientated toward the east, especially if you have an east front door. This is something that, you know, you're not going to change your front door, but perhaps you can use a garage door or the back door or a side door or something else. Keep that area very quiet. I would not put any kind of embellishments on an east front door at all for this particular year. And I would just keep it very, very low keyed. The only thing that I would do is cure that particular area with a metal element. Now, a metal element, a lot of times they choose to use 6-rod wind chimes. They don't have to rattle and roll. We're keeping this quiet. It can be on the inside. It can be a metal umbrella stand. It can be anything that, really carries the element of metal. But keep that area, very quiet, not a lot of traffic, and especially do not enhance it with the color red. We also have the North. Now, the North is in this particular year really good, but March, we've got a little hiccup here in March. We've got some conflicting ideas of chi there that causes, I want to say, some arguments. And I want to say it's, really kind of, I'm going to have to stand on my head and spit coins out of my mouth in order to untie this knot. So, if you can, try not to face the north in March. You want to be facing the south, which is a complete set of 10, 10, the sum of 10. 8 and 2 is there. Also, we have the southeast, which is on the Bagua, the wealth sector. That's a nice, a beautiful money number in the southeast. The best direction, I think, for March is west. So a lot of you who love to watch the sunsets or perhaps like to play with their children in the West rules children and technology and all of that kind of good things. But the Southwest now, the matriarch of the family, the females, the mamas, we are going to be the luckiest. We're going to be the most powerful. What we say goes. And we are going to, if you feel like, yeah, I want to up my value, do so. It's going to have great results for you. If you wanted to implement anything or start your plan or whatever that is on that new moon when we plant the seeds, those particular seeds of the Aries at 0 degrees, on the 21st of March, matriarchs, we're ruling. We're going to be strong. Our energy is going to be warrior. We are not only going to start things, we're going to finish them. And we're going to be very successful. So the Southwest, I would love for you to use the rose quartz in the Southwest as well. You can also use amethyst. You can use some other crystals, but crystals are crystals are the go-to element in the Southwest for the matriarch in this particular time. I just want to caution you of, let's see, the the south. If you have your headboard on the south direction and you're laying down and the top part of your head is facing the south, I would really like for you to get a wooloo and put it on your bedside table. The number 2 illness star is there in the south, and we don't want to go through any more than we've already gone through in the last couple of years. If I can say, for the patriarch of the family in the northwest corner of the home, where we have our altar, where we have our sacred space, it is something that is a cherished feng shui cure, and it is called the 6 bags of gold. And you can have rocks, you spray paint them with gold, you put them outside in the northwest sector of the home, and the patriarch is solid, especially with having enough support for the household through the particular month of March. I want to say hi, Mr. Bill. I want to say hi to Christina and Leslie and Sheila. Hello, everybody. I know the angels are all with us. I've been getting these flashes like crazy. So those are the particulars for feng shui. I know that your sacred space is someplace for you to feel as though you're safe, you're comfortable, you can do your aligning of your chakras. You can try out different frequencies of the voice for your mantras as well. You can also try different mudras while you are holding good thoughts and intentions. You can also pretend like you have ears of an elephant. Well, I thought when I take people through meditations, a lot of times we turn into Ganesh. I don't know if you know who Ganesh is, but it's basically where you tune into what you're hearing, what you are being given as far as messages, as far as any type of pictures or visuals, or any type of knowing that's going to be dropping in. So I always picture that we have this huge pair of elephant ears so that we can listen, so we can clear out and we can listen instead of always projecting. So we can be taking things in. Yes, taking things in. And that's where we're going to be getting that, picking up things quicker, getting the messages faster, working our magic for humanity. So that's what's going to be great. I would love to talk about Pluto. Pluto, I just want to say very quickly, because I know I want to do some readings in the chat room tonight. Pluto is going to be taking on a huge mission. Little Pluto, it moves so slowly, but yet it's the biggest filter we have. And what it does is it clears out the toxic debris that we no longer need, it's kind of a frequency detector. It's like a bullshit detector, really. It kind of goes through science, goes through health, goes through, banking and wealth, and goes through leadership, and goes through education, and just sort of says, okay, I'm going through it all. And I've got this little tester here, and whatever tests that it's BS, it's leaving town. It's getting off the planet. So Pluto is taking on a huge 20-year cycle. And it's going to be going through everything that we no longer need, and is going to be launching us into an unbelievable big step toward the 1,000 years of peace, the golden years, it's called. Because all as we have been doing, I was a little girl, and I can remember In the back seat of my dad's Vista Cruiser, which was a station wagon, and them talking about war on the radio and all of this and that. And I thought to myself, why do we have to have war? Why can't we just, you know, play and, have fun? And why do we always have to have a war? And I questioned that as I questioned a lot of things about religion as well. But I questioned that. And when I was aware that we were headed towards a golden era of 1,000 years of peace, I thought, oh, is it going to happen tomorrow? How many sleeps is it going to be before we get there? And, it's one of those things that when you're a little kid, you think it's going to happen right away. I didn't know that that was why we are all here, and part of our mission on the planet is to get us to that particular beautiful golden era of peace of 1,000 years. So, what Pluto is going to be doing is taking on a 20-year cycle. Pluto is going there and is going to be showing you a little bit about, okay, we're going there. We're going to give you a little preview about what's happening. And guess what's going to happen? We're going to get a big kickback because Pluto is all about making things free and, transforming, and giving you a higher vision than what was there before. So it demolishes everything in its way that we no longer need, or that is insincere, that is just non-usable anymore. And it just it destroys it. We're going to get a little bit about what's coming. We're going to get a little bit of a flash about how humanity is really going to be breaking the chains here. We're going to be, we're going to have totally different healthcare, new technologies coming in. Free energy is, energy is energy. It's everywhere. Why are we paying for it? I mean, I remember when we had to pay for long distance phone calls. And now we can call wherever we want. We can Zoom wherever we want. You see how this goes in step by step. So, we've been paying and we've been slaving away when all of these things really belongs to us to begin with. Our education belongs to us. It belongs to us. It's granted to us. And, all of this is going to be given to us in a flash. And then what's going to happen is corporate is going to say, well, we're going to have our last stand here. So Custard last stand is coming as well, because then Pluto is going to backtrack and go into a retrograde cycle back into corporate, which is Capricorn. And we're going to be dealing with Father Time once again. Hello, Ivy. How are you? Hi, Bob. How are you? So nice to see all of you coming into the chat room. And as we go back into Capricorn until 2024, the last ditch efforts of corporate, they're trying to hold the fort, and there's just no holding on when Pluto goes through, and it's going to drill down. It's going to be intense, because I think we're all going to be very, very surprised and happy when we get to that rotten core, pull it out, smooth over the texture, and build a better foundation. And that's what we're going to be doing. So in 2024, we're blasting through. There's, the government's going to change, money's going to change, energy and what we've paid for it is going to change. Education and what we've been paying for it is going to wait till you see what happens in the next 20 years. I hope we're all here to see it. And I hope we're all here to take advantage of it and make a better place for our children that are coming on board the planet. And that's really what's important here. Break the generational bonds that no longer serve us and go into an exploratory area of our galactic awareness. And so we're going to be transforming, and we're going to be doing all of this in very slow moving increments. Remember, Pluto is it's the slowest but most transforming uh, planet that we have. So Pluto is huge. And just so you know, Pluto enters Aquarius on March 23rd. And it has not been in Aquarius since 1777 to 1798. Now, that's the American Revolution. That's a French Revolution. That's when people said, oh, heck no, get rid of the queen, get rid of the king, off with their heads. And, it's going to be a republic. It's going to be for the people. That's exactly what happened with America as well. The whole tax revolution happened. And, the independence, it was a priority for all of us. So what I want to definitely say to you is if you want to get into astrology, what a great time. What a great time to commit that 3-year cycle to really, learn the ins and outs about astrology. You can do it about feng shui. Just commit yourself to being aware of energy and being aware that you can change it. It's easy, it's simple, and it has a absolute miraculous elevator to success for you and soul growth beyond belief. So, if you have not been aware of different types of energy, what is poisonous that's going into the body, what's poisonous around us, we're getting there. We are getting there. We are all wakening up to the sabotage that's been around us, and um, we're not going to deal. We're not playing there anymore. We're cleaning it up. We're going forward. We're starting a new cycle, a new 20-year cycle, and we're just now making the blueprints. So be a part of it. Start with your own sacred space and make sure that you understand that what is above is so below, but what is inside is on the outside as well. If you have any inspiration at all, and if you've learned anything throughout all of my shows and everything, I just want to say to you that my website, Kimla Lowe, Lowe.com, does have a donation button. That donation button is for charities. And yes, and it deals with the homeless center in San Diego, California. That is just, they're overwhelmed. It's out of control. And also for St. Jude, that I'm very proud to be a part of that. And so if you have learned what happens with energy is it's exchanged. So I am here, I'm putting out a lot of the energy, and maybe if you've gotten just a little kernel of knowledge or a little bit of how that works, maybe you find an inspiration to exchange energy with others on a humanitarian level and go ahead and donate there. I sure would appreciate that. And if you'd like to book a session with me, you can always go to Sessions and Products. We have wonderful products there as well from freshandalive.com that helps you with your frequency through scalar energy. We're going to be learning about scalar energy more and more, and also all types of different health products to really keep your immune system up. So that's all great, and also protection devices as well. Well, hello, Jules. How are you? Yes, hello, beautiful spirit to you too. Yes, and the revolution. Wow, I was wondering, it's so interesting. It is interesting, it's interesting as astrologers because we go back through cycles and we go back through when was the last time this happened? What exactly happened on the planet at that particular time? And it has to do with Pluto, and it has to do with now the Pluto, what we call the Pluto return, which is the Pluto. Pluto actually takes 248 years to circle the planet. Uranus takes 84 years. Neptune takes 165 years. So a lot of us are just students here. We're just students trying to put all these cycles back together. But a lot of these particular topics and foundations, and I talked about this before in on other shows, that during that particular time, we can even go back further to 1578 with the Magna Carta. And all of these declarations and all of these overthrows, or all of these other types of revolutions, are something that took humanity to a new frequency, a new level. We are about to do that but everyone wants to avoid the war, or the pretend war, or under the guise of the belief system of war. Pluto's going to come in, and Pluto is going to bust that completely down. Just so you know, when Pluto was discovered, it was in the year of the atomic bomb. And Pluto is like that. Pluto just blows everything up, puts it back together in such a way that it will stand the test of the next cycle in time. What is time? We may be going through this particular age of Aquarius where time has expanded. Time is what we call the light of wisdom. It's the light. The light contains knowledge. Knowledge is the wisdom that we all know. That we all know. We just have to get back to it and remember it. We have been encased. We have been cocooned. We have had, let's just say, miles and miles and miles of, Michelin mans around each of us for too long of a time. We have not been able to move. We have not been able to use our own voice, our own creativity, our own spirits. And now we are going to be busting through that. You and I holding hands across the globe with everyone. And we are going to be showing our light. We're going to be using our protected souls in full force, and we are going to be taking the leap upward. And we are going to experience things we have never experienced before, even in Atlantis or Lemuria. It is going to go beyond. So, yeah, I know. And please, if you are on YouTube, go into the comment section, leave some comments. That would be awesome. I sure would appreciate that. And, and you know what? Just go and visit, go create your sacred space. Is there anyone that I can really quickly answer a question for? I would love to do that. If anybody has a question real quick and they want to type it in so that I can go ahead and do a little reading here. We've had a lot of energy about making decisions, about making commitments, about moving to the next level here. And if anybody needs a little bit of clarity as to what your next move is, I would love to help you out. So if you are, just go ahead and put it in the comments section. Let me see if I can do that. Okay. Do you see a move for me? Oh, I see that. And Ivy says she's going to take a card too. Do I see a move for Vandana? Let me see. I believe we kind of went through that. Yes, Ivy, I will get to you after Vandana. Yeah, I feel as though, Vandana, you need an energy boost or an energy, I want to say kind of like a healing, like an alignment. And then everything's going to fall into place. I feel as though your energy got a little low there, went through a slump. And now, if you have a friend that does Reiki or even massage, acupuncture, anything like that, I feel like you need to have an alignment done. And then boom, it's like, the archer, you're pulling that bow back so you can hit your target. A move is coming for you. Yes, I do believe that. You need to get aligned first so you know where you're going and with what intensity and energy you're going to need to make that happen. Ivy, Miss Ivy, here we go. Miss Ivy. Miss Ivy, Miss Ivy. Woo! Miss Ivy, are you I feel like you're passionate about something coming up, but you still feel a little stuck. So you need to kind of review something. I feel as though you need review something that happened back in January. And when you kind of go through, I think it had something to do with some maybe opportunity that maybe fell through for you, or you need to review how that happened and what was good about it, what wasn't good about it. You need to review that. I feel like you need to do some heart to soul writing things. And they're telling me, no, don't type, write, draw, doodle, do those kinds of things, because what you're doing is you're drawing in codes, activating them, lighting them up while you're doing that. And some wisdom is coming to you. I feel like there is a huge shift coming up for you around late spring for you. Okay, late April, early May, right around in there. I feel like there's going to be some type of a real shift for you, all for the better. It may feel a little bit scary at first, but you're not scared. Nothing can scare you. You can see right through that stuff. So it's all going to be coming. But right now, you might feel a little stuck. So just go ahead and make that review, what happened in January, and make things better. Kind of resolve that and write things down. It's going to activate your codes. And then you wait for that shift that's going to be happening by June. I think you are going to be totally clear. You're going to get rid of some debris that you've been waiting to get rid of for a long time. Okay. And that way you're going to be lighter, brighter, and able to just see all through the universe. So I feel like that's going to be very good for you. Oh, Miss Sheila, I love this one. Instead of worrying, ask for divine guidance. Talk to your angels. You always talk to angels. They must just need you to talk to them and get some stuff off your chest, because that's the message for you. Also, you are a healer. You've got the gift of healing. So the more you participate with people, the more you're able to socialize. I feel as though if you've made a commitment to perhaps elevate your knowledge of healing and how to work it and how to do it, I feel like it's not only going to be great for humanity, but it's going to be great for your own soul growth. So I feel as though, yeah, that's going to be great for all of you. Well, my darlings, thank you so much for coming in the show. I hope that each and every one of you creates a beautiful sacred space. And until next time, may the angels protect you and guide you. Good night, everyone.